Okay. Now that I have that loosened up, I did help it along with a heat gun. I'm gonna go ahead and add the checkerboard. Okay, so this is why I changed up, because you know when you're a thrifter, there is just junk out there, stuff that you know, it was nice at the time, but it's either worn or it's outdated, or you want to transfer it into something to fit into your style, your own vibe. And that is today's video. I'm taking some of my thrifted secondhand finds and I'm sharing the process with you of how I'm giving them new life and making them over. And when I say junk, I mean junk. Look at this. I am a swan lover. I love the ducks, the birds, the whole, all of it. One time of its life, either it was made into a lamp or it was always a lamp, but I'm going to take it into a beautiful swan again. And the funny thing is, it is super heavy. I almost wonder if it's cement. That's how heavy it is. So how am I going to transfer a cement piece? Good question. So first of all, we need to get it taken apart. And it is rusty crusty at its best. So let's see if we can get this to turn. We can only hope. Trust me, this is WD-40. My husband is a tool guy, so I need to lubricate this to see if I can get that to spin for me. Okay. Now that I have that loosened up and I can pull it, I'm not rebuilding a lamp. Oh, of course, there's another piece that we have to take off. Does it spin? It does. Yes, I do believe that this might have been some type of plaster of Paris, cement. That's okay. So to fill in the hole, I'm going to use some Bondo. This is multi-purpose, so it should adhere well to plaster of Paris. I'm really not sure what the material is. If you know, give me a quick comment down below. So it's a two-part. So you mix the putty. And I'm gonna have to make batches because as soon as you start mixing the hardener in with it, it starts to set up. So you only have about a couple minutes work time, but it fills in, it's hard, and it should be solid. Yep, just a little dab of that hardener and with the putty does the job. So I think I'll start off with the biggest part first. I like the character of some of the chippiness, but I don't want it to have a hole. So instead of trying to fill this all at once and have it run, I will fill it in sections and let that section dry first, because that's a pretty big hole. And Bondo is sandable. Put a little bit in that hole too. See, it's already starting to set up. It's not even moving. So this part is now set up and I need to add a little bit more to finish it off. The longer you let Bondo sit, the harder it is to sand. So as soon as you can touch it, it may still feel a little bit warm, but I'd go ahead and sand it. So now for the color, I'm actually going to make some texture paint, and I'm going to use some of the DIY's Cottage color and the white linen. I'm just stirring this up. I wanted a all-in-one paint to paint the swan so that it didn't come off and hopefully soak into that, whatever it's made out of. But it already has a lot of texture like cement. So I'm going to mix it up with some baking soda at 50-50. So that it's way thicker, and hopefully it'll stick on that material a little bit better. Now, because I'm looking for more texture on this, there's not really much to clean. You just have to dust any cobwebs off. I'm just using an old, like a chipping brush, I guess. I don't even know what it is, but then I'm gonna go in like this with a pouncing motion because it already has lots of texture, especially where I did that spackling. Well, not, especially where I did the Bondo. Because like I said, it already has all that texture going on anyway. And hopefully it'll cover up that number 5. If not, the second coat hopefully will. I don't know why it has a number 5 on it. You know, secondhand finds, you just never know why. Okay, just let that coat dry. So now I'm gonna go in with some coal black from Fusion. Take my little end of my paintbrush to get the eyes. Luckily, the indentation is still there. Wipe that off. And now I'm going to do the swan. A little bit better control. Okay, I'm going to start off with some clear wax. I want to give the little guy some aging. I'm going to remember to put my gloves on this time, and I'm going to go in with the antiquing wax. The aging wax, excuse me. I'm going to rub off the excess. I know it always looks scary at first. I myself love Rusty Krusty. So recently we picked up this rusty crusty scale at an auction, but unfortunately, look at that beautiful green. That's the color that really, colors sell better than the rusty crustiness. So since it has that outer ring of green, and since it has this green, I'm going to try to patina it in a chippy paint, probably milk paint, because that'll give me that chippy look, without it looking like it's going to be freshly painted, still trying to keep it the vintage antique look that it is. Not going to touch the face. We're just going to go ahead and do the body and maybe the top. We'll see what I'm going to try to match this color up, mixing some of the Sweet Pickins milk paint. So I have some Dawn dish soap, some warm water. We will get it wiped down at least. Face has just the right amount of patina. I'm going to look. I think Old Olive might be close to the color. So we're going to start off with the base of that. So Sweet Pickins is a powder paint, which is really easy to do like mixtures of. So I'm going to do like 1.5 scoops of that. Another 1/2 scoop of pantry door, because I know what Old Olive turns out like, so I know that it's not quite there. And then just a little bit of artichoke, just a little bit. Chemistry definitely was not my thing in school. But, so you need to do equal parts of water. So I'm just gonna eyeball what I had mixed in there to mix up the paint. Give or take a drop or two. And we'll see how close I come. My paint has been sitting, thickening up a little bit. I'm just going to get a re-stir, get that off the bottom. And then I'm just going to put, I didn't seal this in with anything, so I'm hoping that it'll be chippy. So we're just going to go ahead and get it painted. Now my decision to leave the top, and I don't know, I almost think, it's so hard, y'all. Do I leave the top? Do I not leave the top? Because once I paint it, it's painted. Okay, I think because it's so nice, I'm going to leave the top. Definitely. Okay, made my choice. I am going to do 2 coats. It's dry, not really a lot of chippiness yet. So hopefully the second coat will kind of activate some chippiness. So, I thought I had the camera on. So I did help it along with a heat gun. Just putting the heat on, moving back and forth, whatever is going to chip. So you don't have this perfect paint job with rusty crustiness. Okay, it didn't chip all the way down to that first coat, but that's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some of the Homestead Clear Wax on here first, because I don't want to darken it up too much. And then I'm gonna use some of the where is it? I'm gonna use some of the aging wax right on top of that clear. And then let's see what we get. Rubbing that right in there. I'm actually going to go ahead and do the whole thing first. Okay, wipe on and wipe off. Now for just a little bit more patina, I'm going to add some of the decrepit dust on the seam here. And a little bit of this stuff goes a long way. And then just blend it in to just give it that rust to match the top. I am amazed always by this stuff. Definitely gives it that old-timey patina. So for my next project, I'm going to be using this piece of board that nobody wanted. I think it's gorgeous, but I'm going to make it into a primitive folk art checkerboard. For my main color on my checkerboard, I'm going to be painting it curry. I love this color. I don't use it as often as I would like it to be. So that's a big checkerboard, and we're going to be painting both sides. I'm really not going to do much prep anything other than this is just a clean board because I don't care if it chips off or not. So that's the whole point. I'm trying to make this look older. So I'll let this sit to the side and thicken up. So I got to re-stir, get those yummies off the bottom that's settled. And yeah, we're just going to paint right over that. Stains and all. I chose milk paint for this project because I want to make it look old. Whether it crazes or chips, I don't know, because it'll probably just soak into the dry wood. But my main purpose was I'm going to be adding a checkerboard, I'm going to be adding stencils, and I want to dirty it up. I want to give it some age, so I don't want any type of paint that has a top coat in it that would prevent me from aging it with some wax or decrepit dust. And since these are, you can't see them, since these are here, it's a big board. I'm actually gonna paint those a different color. So I started to, and then I'm like, no, I wanted to make a stopping point and make a character detail. So those are my character detail spots. For my end cap color here, I mixed up a little of the lantern, which is that black, very black. So might as well, while I'm waiting for the other paint to dry, do this little detail also. It's got a very nice distinctive ridge right there. That is definitely one of my favorite things to look for is old boards, old pieces of wood that nobody wants. I wish I could say that they were free, but unfortunately, other than seeing them as junk, it's not free. Okay, so I have this stencil that I'm going to use that I got off of Amazon. I'm just measuring in from the sides. Before I tape it down. So I'm going to run a piece of tape down that. So it looks like me. This time I'm just going to tape it on. I'm going to use, I've never used milk paint as a dry technique, but let's see if it works or not. Not terribly worried if it's not perfect. And then now I'm going to do a line around the checkerboard using this smaller tape. So I'll put one down and then put another next to it. And I'm going to remove that one. And then I'm going to put that one down over here. Kind of like making green stripes, but we're just making stripes. Actually a box. I'll cut those out when I'm ready. So then I'll just take my X-Acto knife, cut those other little squares out. So that it makes a box. For my border, I'm going to go around with some of the Gypsy Green by DIY. Just kind of dab it in there. I tried a different one. I thought it was too light. And then I'm just going to go around and make a border. The fun about these old-timey folk art chalkboards is you can just create and add and take away and just have fun. So there's that. And now we're going to go in and I'm going to lay them on the black ones. This time I'm going to cut it. And now I'm going to half another line closer to the squares. That one I'm going to go in with some Bohemian Blue. So really all we were doing is just kind of adding character to the board. So now it looks a little bit more like a checkerboard. So I ordered some folk arty stencils off of Amazon. So to finish this off, I'm just going to center this and then just attach it. Coverage, and I don't have to go over it twice. I'm going to use Little Black Dress. Much better coverage the first time. Doo-doo. Before sanding it to distress it, I'm going to seal it in with some Crayon matte clear coat. That way I don't want any of my colors like to bleed or fade on into each other. So okay, now I'm going to go ahead and run the sander over it. Aging wax. And that's just going to give it that I've been here for a long time patina. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. Nothing like using salvaged wood for projects. Oh, gorgeous. Make sure that I get it into that little crevices there to bring out those details. That was the reason I didn't pre-sand or clean off the board too awful much. Because that just helped to add to all the character of this piece. Even though this is a new item, it's still broken. One of the sheep planters, so one of the legs, I was able to get this at a really good deal because one of the legs was broken off. Luckily, it was still in there. So I know they came out in the spring and everybody's trying to find them and everybody's just gave up on it. But I'm like, well, why have Bondo out? Bondo would be the great thing. I mean, you could super glue it and take the chance that it's going to stay, but since I have Bondo out and I'm using it on the swan anyway, I'm going to go ahead and fix the little leg using some Bondo, and I know that bond is going to be permanent and it's going to be nice and strong. But I do need to make up a new little batch, only because, like I said, as soon as you add this hardener, it sets up really fast. So I was unable to use what I had created for the swan. I've used Bondo when I've done the IOD molds before. Okay, just let it cure. many sheep planters can I do? I don't know, as many as I can find. So let's change this one up. Gonna start from the bottom. His little leg is glued on now, nice and securely. I think I'm gonna take, a lot of people had an idea of there just being one little black sheep in the middle of these white sheep, so I think I'm gonna give that a try. This is my first time using the DIYs all-in-one. So we'll see how it covers. Of course it's white and I'm not going to spray it. I'm just going to go in and paint it right on. So I'm moving on to my third coat of white. You know how white is. It takes multiple coats. Now I have to flip it over and finish just that little bit of white that wasn't done with the first 4 coats. Time to paint my black sheep. So I'm going to use the same paint line, the Cottage color. And going in to paint my little black sheep. So I ended up switching over to just the regular DIY paint. It was just a little too runny. You know, this is just resin, so it's not like it's soaking in like a wood. And then the way that I'm going to be finishing it, I was afraid that I wasn't going to get the results I was looking for. So I ended up taking white swan over the rest of the sheep, and then now I'm just touching up the black with little black dress. I just want to add some distressing to it, some waxes or powder or something to tie these all together, and I just didn't feel like it was going to do that. I could just tell by the shininess of the top coat, I'm not going to get the results I'm looking for. Okay, so this is why I changed up, because I want to do some wax, do separation in between with some of the decrepit dust. And then now I'm going to go in with some clear wax, because I don't want to terribly darken it yet. And I forgot to put gloves on, but I'm already in the process. So now I'm going to go over with aging wax. So I finally got it to where I wanted it to be between the wax and the dust. So now I need to go ahead and seal that all in. Love it. That black sheep's so cute. Go ahead and seal it all in with some Crayon matte finish. So now I'm going to fill my little container up with some florals. I already filled it up with floral foam, and then I'm going to add some of the Spanish moss, and then some of these beautiful, with my favorite color of baby's breath which will match the sheep. Oh, love it. It's like the world's messiest stuff, but it has a purpose, right? So I'll just keep adding these until it's filled up and I'm happy with the way it looks. So thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope that I have inspired you to look at the junk pile, look at those like broken items, rusted items, a lamp that's seen better days, or just a piece of wood. So I do hope that I have spiked your interest and different techniques of how to achieve that look. Yes, y'all, how that goes. You get a new product and you want to try it automatically. So the paint probably wasn't the best choice for those sheep because it was resin. And I just knew that it wasn't going to distress the way that I wanted to distress. So just had to reroute myself and paint another coat. So be it. I love how each and every one of these turned out, all inspired by different techniques, different ways to achieve that look. And yes, that full color chalkboard, I can't stop looking at it. It looks like it's 100 years old, y'all. I wish you could see it up close, and I hope I took enough pictures to share it with you all. So again, thanks for watching today's video. As always, you're part of our YouTube family. Thank you so much. And if you're new and you're checking out the channel and would like to be part of the YouTube family that has helped this channel grow to almost 100K, I would totally appreciate it. So again, thank you so much. We will see you next time, guys, and you can see what we're up to.